AM 560. The Answer.
Squirrel in the 90s. You missed it all, kid. Of course, you were in diapers back then, were you? That's when people just thought Michael Jackson was a fantastic singer. Don't let them watch the kids. That's when there used to be differences between Democrats and Republicans, but Republicans and Democrats were not willing to protect criminals the way Democrats are today. It's truly unfracking believable how out of the closet the Democrat mafia is in their protection, their shielding, their emboldening, their incentivizing of thieves. This is a scumbag by the name of Pinto in Minnesota. He's an elected official in Minnesota. What he says is amazing. Here he is. Do I have to tell you he's a Democrat? I mean, you know he is.
Several of us are on the Public Safety Committee, and yesterday there was a presentation of a group seeking to change how we address organized retail theft. And it actually had not occurred to me to ask, it probably would have been good, to make sure that they would study sort of the benefit of shoplifting and of retail theft. And
did you listen to this stupid son of a... The benefit? The benefit to whom? You filthy animal. You cannot live where they govern. You can't do it. It cannot be more out of the closet than this.
Several of us are on the Public Safety Committee, and yesterday there was a presentation of a group seeking to change how we address organized retail theft. And it actually had not occurred to me to ask, it probably would have been good, to make sure that they would study sort of the benefit of shoplifting and of retail theft. And because perhaps people are relying on that and sort of using that, maybe it's, assisting them in some way. These folks were describing people violating the law, but I suppose it could be useful to look into that, but ultimately...
You cannot live where they govern. They are telling you there is no law where the Democrats govern, and the lawless are the ones who are virtuous. What about the store owner? How does he pay the rent? What about his insurance? What about what he has to do in the future? And that's why when you live in these third world Democrat ghettos, everything is locked up, because at least the shop owners are finally wise enough to know they want the people to steal. There's no scandal when they do. And that's why the Democrat congressman and Senate could care less about the billions of dollars that are stolen on a daily basis in Democrat areas, but specifically Minnesota.
When did you become governor?
In January of 2019.
In 2019. Okay, so using 2018 as a baseline, do you know what that program paid in Medicaid claims?
I do not, Congressman.
It's about $671,000. Do you know what that program paid in Medicaid claims in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me.
$342 million. That's about...
There is no one that has an IQ over 50 that cannot see that's all fraud. All of it is fraud. What changed? A Democrat governor, and that's all, and a Democrat president. And the money flowed because these areas, these Democrat enclaves, they're the ones who stole the 2020 election, and that was the payback. That's why it was orchestrated from Democrats.
About a 500x increase over 6 years. Was there 500 times the number of autism patients in that time period?
I couldn't speak specifically to it, but I will say, Congressman, that
doesn't sound reasonable, right?
It isn't possible. Not just it isn't reason. It is not possible.
I think there was a 500x increase in the number of autism patients in 6 years, right?
Correct, and that's why we ordered on-site visits starting back in 2024.
So we agree that doesn't sound reasonable.
You ordered on-site visits. You ordered. One kid, Nick Shirley, one kid exposed what all your government asshats could not.
Do you believe the 70,000-strong Somali community as a whole has made a positive impact on your state?
I do.
So you'd be the opinion, fair to say, that the Somali community has successfully assimilated and is making Minnesota better?
Yeah, I believe they're on that path, okay. Yes.
I'm just curious by what metric you'd come to that conclusion. I just looked at some hard data. And do you have any idea what percentage of the native-born...
I have got an even problem with the way that's presented. It isn't hard data. It's just data. It's fact. Stop arguing anything but fact. If you live in a Democrat-controlled area, the predator, the thief, the scoundrel, and the welfare roach, that is who is protected by government.
Minnesotans, all races, live in poverty in your state right now?
I don't have specifically.
I'll share it with you. It's 8%. For the Somali community, it's 52%. How about receiving food stamps? Same
I don't
thing.
know.
All right, I'll run it down with you. It's 7%, and then compared to 54% in the Somali community, and then don't have at least a high school diploma. For all Minnesotans, it's 5%. Somali community, it's 39%. One family member at least on Medicaid, it's 18% for Minnesota, 73% for the Somali community, and receiving welfare of some form, it's 21%. And it's 81% for the Somali community. Governor, do you happen to know what the percentage is of all those who have currently been charged in this staggering social services fraud scheme were native-born Minnesotans? What percentage?
I do not have that.
I think it was 85 out of 98, which comes out to 13% Minnesotan and 87% Somali Minnesotan. So I think this is an instance.
And yet, when asked that question for eternity, he'll give you the same answer. And there are zero repercussions. And the reason there are zero is it's the Republicans that let him get away with that. Just like it's the Republicans that shelved the investigation into the fraud that is Ileana Omar. From soup to nuts, from her birth date to her citizenship, from the ridiculous story of a winery and an investment venture capitalist from $0 to $30 million. And who is in control of Congress? Republicans.
Congresswoman, where do we stand on the investigation into Ilhan Omar? Obviously, there's some, questions regarding her citizenship. She's been referred to the Ethics Committee. Can we trust the Ethics Committee to actually be ethical and do the right thing?
Well, what's happened so far? Like, really, I think the remark is always let the process play out. Right? That's what they always say, and nothing never happens. I tried to subpoena her immigration records, her husband's immigration records, and it was Republicans that killed my motion.
Yeah, and what's going on with that? Do you have any more insight you can share on that?
As far as I know, nothing's going on, and nothing will go on. And that's Congress for you, because both sides protect the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And at least now we finally have a president that at least wants to stop the theft and shut the money off until every dollar can be accounted for. And as far as the tragedies of death and mayhem, murder and rape of American citizens, the Democrats will always enable and embolden the predators.
You signed the Minnesota Driver's Licenses for All Act. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct, right? So, now, look, I'm not going to hold you to knowing every single thing in these laws. There's a lot of paragraphs and wording and so on and so forth. But under your law that you signed, it prohibits the disclosure of information contained in the license or identification card applications for enforcing Title VIII of the United States Code. Just to make sure, are you familiar with what Title VIII deals with?
I'm not specifically.
Okay, so it deals with immigration, nationality, and aliens. Particularly, the law that you signed eliminates the requirement for Social Security numbers or proof of lawful presence. And furthermore...
So when you hear about the SAVE Act, and they talk about a license isn't good enough, it's because of these sanctuary scum states that gave, with impunity, driver's license and IDs that your kids have to go to school for, that they have to bring documentation for, that's very difficult to get. And they gave it to people who cannot read, write, or understand the most basic rules of our society and the road. And that's why the death rate is through the roof when it comes to illegal aliens who are driving illegally, but yet somehow have a license from sanctuary ghetto states.
The trucker who was driving the wrong direction on a highway in Missouri has been identified as a Somali migrant who works for a company registered in Minnesota, to Abdiwali Ahmad. That's a company that is...
That's fun to say, Squirrel. Let's say it together. Abdiwali Walad. Oh, I bet you that truck stinks.
Run out of an apartment and logged 81,000 miles last year. The Somali migrant truck driver was traveling south on U.S. Highway 61 in the northbound lanes for miles before correcting course. He was driving at around 50 miles an hour and forced multiple vehicles to swerve out of his way.
The worst thing is when you get hit by it, you smell like feet forever. 312-642-5600.
This is the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.